Hi. It's real funny that I said I would see you guys very soon. In fact, I promised you guys I would see you very soon. And then I just didn't film anything for close to 2 months. I have nothing to say except that my actual real life full-time job has actually stolen so much of my free time. My job has just been stupidly demanding of me, with it being the holiday season. But anyway, here we are. Let me just get right into the video. Hello, by the way, how are you? Let me know in the comments. I always feel weird when I'm filming for the first time after having not filmed for a long time. So if I seem weird, it's because I'm getting used to things again. For today's video, I did give in to my inclination to purchase the Surge palette from Blend Bunny Cosmetics. I'm very, very excited to test it out. I have a few ideas of looks I want to do with it eventually here, but I didn't know where to start. And then I thought it would be fun if the first look I did with this palette, for my first impressions video of this palette, would be one that you guys actually got to have a say in. So more or less, you guys got to kind of pick today's look, my first look with this palette. I didn't ask specifically for like shades or like that kind of thing, because I kind of wanted to decide that based on answers you guys gave to a series of polls I posted on my Instagram story weeks ago at the point when I'm filming this. Again, so sorry. I basically wanted to get a feel for what kind of vibe you guys wanted to see from me with this palette. So I posted a series of polls and question boxes on my Instagram story, and if you follow me on Instagram and you partook of those polls and all that good stuff, your answers basically created the outline of the look that I am going to be doing today. I asked you guys whether you wanted to see warm or cool tones or see me mix both. Half the votes went to using both, and the other half were pretty evenly split between warm and cool, so we're doing both, which will be very fun. I asked you guys what the vibe for today is. There was a series of options. The winner was keeping it deep and grungy, which means you guys are kind of right here with me on what it is about this palette that really draws you in, and I just love that so much. But the runner-up was something simple with a pop of color. So in the interest of having to mix warm and cool tones and use as many shades out of this palette as I possibly can, I'm gonna kind of combine the two ideas. Oh, but also, and this one surprised me, I asked you guys if we should keep it all matte or if we should add a little bit of shimmer somewhere, and you guys were overwhelmingly like, use a shimmer. Which is cool, because otherwise I probably wouldn't have, and it's not because I don't like the shimmers in this palette or whatever, it's just probably the row that draws me in the least. And it's not because the shimmers aren't beautiful, because they are, it's just because I'm really, really interested in the matte shades in particular in this palette. So for all of you who wanted some sparkle, thank you for pushing me out of my little think box, and you're gonna get some sparkle, and it's gonna be great. Let me make sure my eye primer isn't creasing, because I was just talking for quite a bit there. And let's just dive right in. So I feel a need to kind of mix the greens and the oranges, because I think that will look cool. So yeah, I'm diving in first into the deep, beautiful green shade over here, the shade Lush. Deep dark greens like this tend to disappoint me, so. Oh. Oh shit. Okay, cool, 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 cool. Wow, that just stretched really, really far. Okay, so that's a really solid first impression of the deeper shades in particular. I did also ask you guys, and this was really more to kind of get a sense of what it was about this palette that excited you most, because I kind of already knew at a certain point I was going to be using a shade from each row on here. But I did ask you guys to kind of like slide a scale to the row in the palette that excited you the most. And so many of you were right there with me that this row of deep, dark mattes in the middle, very, very, it called to me. They're pretty much the reason why this palette called to me. But I'm also really into the neons because I realize I have plenty of bright shadows, bright matte shades in my collection, but no like true to form neons. And apparently these actually like glow in the dark, like under like UV lights or like black lights or fucking whatever. I think I'm gonna have to test that out at some point. That might be fun to do for a video. The pastels also really interest me because I've heard some people saying that they're not too like chalky, they're not too like dusty looking, which is always impressive for pastel. Oh my god. Wow, this is going so well. I shouldn't be surprised because I've heard nothing but good things about Blend Bunny's matte formula, and also about this palette in particular. I'm very happy with that. That's just genuinely very impressive. I'm gonna tap a bit more over here because I do think I did go a little more heavy-handed on this side, so it just looks darker, but everything's layering up quite nicely. Let me make sure we're nice and evened out. Okay, that's genuinely just very exciting. I look fucking insane. It's gonna be okay. But that's genuinely just very exciting so far. Now I'm gonna go into the shade Alive and blend out our edge up here. With that, I actually need to stop myself from blending so much on the inner portion of my eye. I just feel like I need to adjust the way I place and blend my shadows, keep it more like out here, because when I do my blending that I do in the inner part of my eye, it just closes it off so much and I don't enjoy that. I look back on old looks of mine and I just think, wow, that would be so much better. Like I could be so much more proud of that look if only I'd placed my shadows a little differently. So just something I'm trying to keep in mind. This is going very well. It's not that I dislike green or green eyeshadow, I should say, because I really don't. It's just also not really a color that I gravitate toward much. Same kind of goes for orange, so doing a look that's both of them kind of paired with each other. It's just a really fun way to get out of my comfort zone in a way. I'm gonna have to clean up this side a little bit to more evenly match this side, but that's fine. These do build up really well, like genuinely. I might have to, actually, I don't know. I feel like that darker shade that I laid down first is holding up pretty well and not blending away too much. I might have to re-intensify it a wee bit, but it's honestly doing a lot better than I was expecting. When I say better than I was expecting, I'm not talking about the shadow formula. I was expecting this to be great, but I just mean this kind of shade of green specifically just notoriously becomes ashy and dusts away into nothing, and this one is not doing that. So even with pretty vigorous blending, so I'm just this is great. Now I'm dipping into this light green from the pastel row up here, the shade Hint. It's almost like a very light pistachio shade, and I'm just buffing all along this edge with it. Wow, my eyebrows are really messy. Wonderful. I'm really taking it I'm like hugging my brow with the brush basically, so that it's not like, because my eye primer is quite white. I don't really want it to be a stark white situation up here. So I'm basically taking the shadow all the way up to the brow. I don't know how I feel about that one, to be honest. This might have been a bad shade to pick to introduce myself to the pastel row. Because, oh my god. The pink and the purple in particular, if you've been here for a while, you're not surprised, are really calling to me. But we're working with greens, so I wanted to use the green basically as a, not a transition shade, a softening shade, I guess is what I'm going for. We're looking very Wicked Witch of the West right now. I kind of dig it. But on the other side, anything that I need to re-intensify at the end of this, obviously I will, but I'm really kind of trying to get a feel for how these perform upon first application. The pastel shade is having the hardest time building up, but once it gets there, it's good. So that's something. Huh, I'm really kind of into that. I'm kind of going in and packing on a bit more of that deep, dark green and just kind of buffing it in along these edges. Still trying to keep this inner part of my eye more or less untouched. Obviously, we're going to get a little bit of shading there, but I don't want more than is absolutely necessary. Really being very calculating, as calculating as I can be with the placement here. That just blends so effortlessly, actually. Oh my. And then also going back in with Alive, that green in the middle, this mid-tone that I used as a transition shade, more or less. Just a little bit, and really just kind of feathering it along here so that it's more of a seamless gradient situation between the deep, dark, grungy green and the pastel pistachio-y green. Really barely touching it. But we did need some refining there. We're really losing that transition tone in our mess we're making on ourselves here. I keep trying to look here like there's a mirror. Look at my situation right now. I'm like holding this little compact in the same hand. Ooh, I hope it's showing on camera how seamless it is. It's really, oh my god, it's beautiful in reality. And with this really fluffy shade that I went in with the pistachio shadow with earlier, I'm actually taking as much pigment off on the inside of my wrist here as I can, and with a more or less clean brush, just kind of softly giving ourselves a final little blend here. Yes. Okay, so now here is where we start to introduce our warm tones and our sparkle. Because I want to try, this might fuck everything up, I want to try taking this gold shimmer very lightly and just kind of tapping it on my lid, not as like a full force shimmery lid situation, but more of like a scattered light effect, because I know I want to put a neon on the inner corner and I kind of want that to be the star of the show. I don't want the shimmer to pull too much focus, but you guys did want shimmer, so we're using a shimmer. Should I just use the green one? Should I be boring and use the green one? I feel like it's gonna look really killer with the gold if it works in the way that I'm picturing it in my head. If it doesn't work out, I will mix some of the green shimmer into it. So let's just go right in. Oof. Oof. So what I'm gonna do is kind of shear it out. Oh my god. Wow, that's beautiful. Shear it out as much as, wow, that's just so smooth. Sorry, I'm getting distracted. I'm shearing that out as much as possible so that it's not quite, I don't know how this is gonna go. And I'm just kind of lightly going to, let me try not to block you guys completely. Okay, yeah. See? See? Oh, yes. I was hoping that would work. And if I feel like I need to pick up more, I'm just picking it up off of my wrist. Just kind of lightly tapping it on. This is also why I wanted this area to not have so much of that. That's really fucking pretty. Oh, you guys. Oh, that's really, really incredibly beautiful. Wow. Wow, it is also quite warm. I thought it's really quite a warm yellowy, like bronzy gold. There's a hair on my face. I can see it. Okay, cool, 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 cool. Hang on. Again, I don't even know if it's really showing on camera how cool this actually looks, but oh my god. It's almost like an antique-y bronzed gold when it's sheared out like that. Oh, that's really pretty. Okay, yay! I was hoping that was gonna work out the way I hoped. All right, I'm gonna go pop on my base makeup now off camera, and then I will come back and we will smoke out the lower lash line and do our little inner corner situation to tie everything together.
Oh no!
I realized after I stopped filming a second ago to finish off my look that I didn't turn my mic back on before I filmed that last segment, because there always has to be something. Anyway, silver lining, I love this look. I'm so happy with this. This is more or less what I was hoping would be the finished product. So first impressions of the Blend Bunny Cosmetics Surge palette are very, very good, which is great because I was kind of expecting this to be amazing based on every review I've heard of the eyeshadow formula from Blend Bunny. up to this point. It's funny because the colors I wound up using on my eyes today, like not a single one of the shades I used for this look is one of the ones that actually calls to me in this palette, and I still just love the way that this looks so much. So thank you guys for helping me pick my eyeshadow look today. So yeah, very excited to keep experimenting with this and do all kinds of fun, sick looks for the gram. The quality of the shadows in here really is excellent. If you've been thinking about trying Blend Bunny, this or their Blends palette, which I think is the first palette they came out with. I think they only have the two. I grabbed this one because this just kind of spoke to me a bit more, but there are a lot of people who really love the Blends palette as well. This is basically meant to be a sister palette to that. And that one is all matte, so if you aren't really drawn to the shimmer situation in here, you might want to check that one out anyway, because it's an entirely matte palette. Obviously, because I think the brand is most well known and raved about for their matte eyeshadow formula, it was the mattes in here that kind of drew me in the most. I just kind of assumed the shimmers were going to be nice and work, and they were. The gold shade that I used, I was really impressed with. It's really beautiful. If you're looking for smooth blends and customizable pigmentation, this formula is really stellar. I do want to get to know the pastel formula a bit more. I think the green wound up working really beautifully, but I am interested to see how the other shades kind of work, just because I did have such a different experience with the pastel formula versus like the deep. I'm so impressed with these deep dark shades, and I'm so glad, because this is arguably the row of shades that I was the most excited about. Like when the pictures of this palette dropped, when it was announced, I was like, I need those. Like, actually, I genuinely do. This deep dark purple? Are you fucking kidding me? I cannot wait. The purple and the red right here in the middle. Also the blue. These darker shades in here are really what called to me the most. I cannot wait to use every single one of them. The two that I did use, the green and this more like kind of rusty brown that's meant to go with our warm toned row, really performed beautifully. I am so stoked about this. I was so excited to put these shadows on my eyes, and now that I have, I'm beyond excited to keep playing with them. So I'm very happy with this purchase. If you've been thinking about picking this or their other palette up, I would recommend. I'm so happy with this formula. I was expecting this to be amazing, and it is. So far, this is a first impression. I will come back to you guys with more thoughts at a later date once I've gotten to do a few more looks with this palette. But I mean, you did see for yourselves how these shades kind of performed, so. But I do think this was a really good initial test run, so to speak, and it did give me a really solid idea of what to expect from each of these formulas when I dip into this palette in the future. So yay, that's just very exciting. Again, thank you guys for participating. If you don't already follow me on Instagram, my Instagram account will be linked in the description box down below if you want to take part in fun stuff like this in the future, because I think I want you guys to pick my eyeshadow look more often. This was very fun. It did actually get me to kind of do something I normally wouldn't by way of just like color combination. It just really encouraged me to get very experimental, but also really think about the placement of my shades. So this was very fun. I want to do it again. I hope you guys like this look, especially if you voted for it. I hope it's more or less kind of what you were hoping to see, or that it at least gave you a good idea about this formula and if it's gonna be one you want to check out or not. Thank you guys so much for being here and for watching. I hope that you enjoyed. If you're not already subscribed, consider doing that. And if you haven't already liked this video, consider doing that. Neither are mandatory, but both are highly appreciated. Let me know in the comments what you think of this look, or how you're doing, how your holidays are going, any plans as we end this year and enter the next one. What's going on with you? Let me know in the comments down below. I'm genuinely interested. Again, thank you so much for being here. I will see you back here very soon. This time I mean it. Okay, I do. Be kind to others. Be good for yourself. Have a wonderful holiday season, whatever you celebrate wherever you are. And I will see you back here for the next one very soon. Bye. One second. Do I have this on? No, I do. Fuck. The overwhelming urge to drastically cut my hair has been living with me for quite some time at this point. It's just... I'm tired of looking at it. So over it. I don't want that in the frame. Thank you. Go away. Fuck me. Let me actually just... I'm paranoid now. Okay, the light is green.